not only was it just one person I had to take care of, but it was two, and they were helping me out so much. The only thing that was tough around that time was, they had certain plans and goals that they wanted to reach by a certain time. And it was weird trying to fit into that because I never saw myself doing any of those things. Even
Pam didn't even travel before she met us. She hadn't done anything. So I think it was hard because I need new lungs.
I need a new brain. It's like the Wizard of Oz. We all need something. Stevie needs a heart. Alright. Hi guys, welcome to Vicarious.TV. This is our channel called Love and Lifestyle. My name's Pam and this is Pri. And today we'll be talking to you about our relationship. And this is an important question that we also got a lot, which kind of refers to me mostly in the relationship, of course, and that's what's it like being a person entering the relationship, or what's it like being the third person in a relationship. And I'm just going to say from my experience in it, in the beginning, it was a little difficult. When I met Steven, when I was still getting to know Pri, I was so aware of her feelings. Anytime me and him would go out, I would always say oh, is she okay with it? You're sleeping over too much. You gotta go hang out with her and things like that.
I love that about
Yeah.
That's one thing that made me fall in love with her, is that she was concerned about how I felt. And there were other girls that came that we tried before. They literally had that I'm gonna steal your boyfriend mentality, and it's
yeah, that's another thing that I try to make her. Oh fuck, is that my phone? So once I started to get to know Jack and Pri a little better, our dynamic, I started getting to know my place in the relationship, which was great, because not only was it just one person I had to take care of, but it was two, and they were helping me out so much. The only thing that was tough around that time was, they had certain plans and goals that they wanted to reach by a certain time. And it was weird trying to fit into that because I never saw myself doing any of those things.
Pam didn't even travel before she met us. She hadn't done anything. So I think it was hard because a little hard because Steven and I were together for 2.5 years when we met Pam.
Yeah.
And we had already traveled. We had these plans, and we were excited to bring her in. And I think we were overly excited to bring her into our plans. And then she's like, wait, hold on, I have my plans too. So it was just incorporating 3 people's plans now into one. It's okay, you want to do this, but we could do this in California too. She's like, I don't even know if I like California. And that's why I was so excited to take her for my birthday to Cali. And I was every time we were there, I'm like, see, isn't it great?
It was
see,
great.
Do you like this? It was awesome. So, I mean, I could see where she was hesitant at some point because we had our own plans as a couple, Steven and I. But I think we did a pretty good job in communicating and then bringing in her plans into ours. And it's our plans now.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why that was a little more tough for me, not because of it being in a poly relationship, but just being in a serious relationship in general. I never had that. I'm the youngest within all of them. And I never been in a relationship where it's oh, right, these are our goals. This is what we're going to do. It was kind of just in the moment kind of thing, which isn't bad. It's just, once you get older, you can't always do that. And that's one thing I learned with them. And it's not necessarily that I didn't want to fit in their goals. It's just I didn't know where I would fit, I guess, if that makes sense. They did make it a lot easier for me, like Pri said, they ended up taking me to California, and, it was great. I ended up loving it. They definitely helped me widen my horizon on how I view, a lot of things. Even though I still like the comfort of my own home, I did realize it's all right, I do need to see a little out there more. And I do need to communicate with people who want to grow, with people who have the same mindset. Just not necessarily even adult, but just someone who's, more mature and already knows what they want and already have these goals set in mind. And it helped a lot in this relationship because they communicate a lot. And that was also something I wasn't used to, And it kind of made me realize it's like, all right, if I have to fix this problem, it's like, am I going to sit here and ignore it? Or are we actually going to talk about it and find a way to make this better? And eventually when I entered the relationship, we were all still kind of open, but that kind of changed because I wanted to see, I'm that kind of person I need to do something to see if I'm comfortable with it or not. And turns out I wasn't too comfortable with it because I still wanted to get a better relationship with them both. I didn't want like outsiders to come in and then, me feel hesitant to build an even closer relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, because before, that's how we were able to find Pam. You know, we had your non-typical relationship, but once we found Pam and then we're like, okay, then we discovered, oh, this is poly, and then we read into that and then we decided that, we wanted to just be us three. So that's how, and you'll see many videos of how it grew after that. How was it for, do you feel like when you told, like, your parents, like, I'm dating this guy who has a girl, like,
my mom definitely wasn't a fan of it. And she's still kind of iffy about it, but I was always the person in my family that's like, I'm going to do what I want and how I want it, and you either support me and are there or you're not. I'm not the kind of person that's like, I'm not going to make you stay if you don't want to. Like, it's your life. You do what you want, and I don't want to overstep any boundaries in your life. And that's how I was with my entire family. Some of them still don't know because they're very traditional, and I just don't want that in my life, But my close family, they all know. Like, they came over for Christmas. Did you guys come over for Thanksgiving? I can't remember.
I was working.
I think Steven then. I can't remember, but, they've been over my house, like, a bunch of times with my family being over. And, it's still a little weird for them, but my mom, she just kind of accepted it because of the kind of person that I am. And this relationship, like, it's always kept getting better and better. No matter how sometimes their energies are overwhelming, because I was always, like, keep to myself kind of person. Like, I did, like, simple things to keep me happy and content, and, like, I always played it safe. So being the person to enter was only a little tough in terms of the kind of person I was because of my lack of communication, my lack of trust, and I never had jealousy, which was a good thing. Like, when it came to Jack and Pri spending their time together, I always encouraged it. Like, even if I'm hanging out with Jack and, like, Pri comes and he kisses her and hugs her, like, that makes me so happy, like, to see that,
Yeah.
My jealousy was more with, like, other people, like, outside of this relationship. Well, it wasn't necessarily jealousy. It's just I wanted to establish my relationship with him more so I feel more comfortable and more secure in this relationship, which then eventually we became close, and that helped me. And, like, they listened to me. I communicated it, which was great. And, yeah. Those are pretty much the only thing that was tough, was, like, right in the beginning, like, knowing your place and kind of getting set in stone with their plans. Because it's not like they just started dating and I came. Like, they were dating for 2.5 years.
Yeah. From my perspective, too, it's just, like, her, like, I think one thing that made it a little hard in the beginning is, like, when Steven brought her up to me, he's like, oh my God, I found her. It's like, here you go, another one. So I was like, I had that thing, like, here's another one. She's going to try to steal my man again, And so when she came in and really showed that she liked me and loved me too, it, like, I was able to let that boundary go away and that wall go away and really take her in, just like finding someone else. So it's just like we had that level of respect from the very beginning as we were testing our waters.
Yeah.
So that was so important for me when we started.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, if you're going to be joining a relationship, you have to make sure that you respect your partners. Like, you're not hiding secrets between your partners. You're communicating with them. And, sometimes your feelings in the beginning can be a little iffy, and you're scared. You're scared to be vulnerable to two people at the same time, because it's like, oh my God, what if his girlfriend doesn't like me? Or what if her boyfriend doesn't like me or something? It's like, okay, but you communicate, you try to see what you can do better in the relationship, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But don't be that kind of person that wants to break the relationship. Like, that's one thing I was always scared of too. Me and Jack were spending a lot of time together because Pri always worked the most. She worked a lot. And so with me and him having a little more free time, I was always nervous that that's what Pri would think too.
And
yeah.
She always made me feel super comfortable. And I had a great relationship with Steven where I didn't feel like, oh my God, he's spending all this time with her. You know, like there was so much trust and like so much value in us as a couple, you know, that's why it worked from the very beginning. I never felt insecure about my position in our relationship. So it wasn't hard taking her in as well.
Yeah. But I guess that pretty much sums it up. I mean, you know, just take it slow in the beginning. Make sure it's what you want. Make sure you vibe with both of them and you like, you know, if you fit. Because sometimes when you're entering a relationship, their plans can be drastically different. Like, they could be like, oh, like, we're moving away next month. We really like you. Come with us. But you have family. And, like, you know, every situation is different. It's just a matter of communication, which is something we talk about in a lot of our videos. And it's just, that was personally my experience. So everybody, you know, can be different.
If you guys have any questions, we are kind of just going down the list of questions that you guys are asking us, and we try to make it as personal as we can. A lot of it isn't even just about poly. I think people overthink it too much, and it's like, oh, how does it work in a poly? Like, how do I get a third person? Or how is it to go in? It's a little harder because you're dealing with two people, but, you know, it's just like you have to learn about one partner and, you know, what he likes and or she likes and like what they don't like, you know, like even foods or something like that. I don't know, something silly, allergies or whatever. You're gonna do the same thing in a poly relationship. So any questions that you guys have, we love answering them.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be poly related. If you like, we're gonna be putting out some relationship videos too, and they're pretty simple. I mean, of course, they're gonna naturally tie into our poly relationship. But if you have any simple questions like how do you trust your partner to do something, you know, definitely ask them. We're very happy that you guys are getting back to us, especially on our social media, and we try to write as much as we can. But sometimes doing a video is just a little easier for us.
So subscribe, do all the YouTube thing. Follow us on our Instagram and leave more questions for us to answer you guys, and we will get back to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.